Jeremy,
Brad,
what?
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 Do you like my new library?
Is it brand new?
It's brand new. Some of these books haven't even been opened yet.
Let's see. I see Slaughterhouse 5.
Right here. Yeah.
Yep. I see the Bible,
Right there. It's good to have that in the house somewhere. Ward off the devil.
the Quran.
Right there.
Yep.
Yep.
I see, what is that? Golf My Way by Jack Nicklaus? That's a weird one.
It's right there, dude. I'm the avid golfer. I don't know if you knew that.
I see Once a Runner.
Yeah, right here. It's over here. I'm surprised you can see that. It's kind of clipped off a little bit. I
It
got about
is.
1.5 million books right now.
And a Ghostbusters pen.
Yeah, did you see that? Look at that. That's from the newest movie. We got that when we went to see it.
Wow. Keep touching it. That's cool.
Elliot really, really enjoyed that movie.
Was it good?
It was all right.
It was all right.
Nothing lives up to the original. Seemed like they used a lot of gimmicks. And it was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. So,
Aren't they all? You already know they're going to catch the ghost.
yeah, but I felt this way about a couple books. This big build up, oh, here's the big bad, and then, oh, 3.5 seconds later, the big bad's dead. Or destroyed or
What?
defeated. Yeah, so such a bummer. It's just like a letdown.
Wow.
I know. What are you gonna do?
Well, Jeremy, now
Right.
we've got to re-welcome everybody
I can't do what I did earlier. I don't even know what I
to,
did.
to the Briggity Bro Bob's Big Time Podcast featuring Jeremy Clover. Hit it.
And Bradford. Briggity, Briggity,
Briggity.
Briggity. Robot. Big time.
Big time.
We're up to running, 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 running podcast. We're a running podcast, and we're big time, big time.
Have you ever thought of what the intro would be like if we were named the Studley Dudleys? What would this be like?
Studley, you Studley, you're Studley, Dudley. I'm a Dudley. You're a
Jeremy,
Dudley.
Jeremy. The Studley, it should be the Briggity Bro Bob's Big Time Podcast presents the Studley Dudley workout video
Yes. Now we're on the
featuring
one Studley and one Dudley.
David Duncan apostrophe.
S.
No, it's not. He doesn't own it. It's like Dunkin' Donuts. It's
think-
just
Yeah, but I think you need to have a David Duncan's
no,
and Ray Chickadees.
no.
Is it not our workout video?
It is, but why would you make it? What do they own?
The video.
No, it's starring them.
Oh. Starring yeah. Sorry.
Think about it, Jeremy. You of all people should know this.
I should. I have to say, I'm a smidge on the tired side right now. Apologies to the folks out there.
So you just must be neck deep in training right now.
It's not that. Last week was crushing just at work. So Monday was the regular day. Tuesday, I didn't get home till like 9:30 because we had a college fair. Wednesday was a regular day. Thursday was a track meet. Didn't get home till 9:30 again. Friday was the challenge course outside all day long, hanging out with some juniors. Saturday was Katie's race. So she did a 24-hour run with one of our friends.
How'd that go?
Well, they started at 7, and everything was going well. I mean, she did fine. She got 50 miles in, with no training. Like she truly did like 3 5 mile runs, and just was like, okay, guess I'm ready. So she did that, went out and did 50 miles. Um, our friend did 75 miles. They were out there until about 3 in the morning. I was going to go out there at 6:30 and help them pack up all their stuff, but they they decided at 3 o'clock, once they hit those milestones, that they were just kind of done, and I don't blame them. they were.
So did they get shirts, trophies, anything?
Katie got a plaque for 50, and our friend Stacy got a plaque for 75. The winners were all over 100 miles for men and women.
Was it super hot over the weekend?
No, actually, it was really nice. So I don't think it crested like 72, 73. So not didn't get to
Pretty
75.
warm still.
Yeah, but most of it wasn't that warm at all. It was super overcast. It rained a little bit in the morning. It was actually quite chilly at night. So it was actually pretty good running weather. The year I did it 2 years. The second year I did it, got up to like 94. That was not fun at all. So yeah.
So she did pretty good.
Yeah, she did really well. I think I'm going to use her training for my mileage this week. So I hit 50 miles this week. That was really cool. I 24 hours of running, or 21 hours of running. I just was crushing it. So
Do you have her wear your Garmin?
I should have. Get my mileage. No, like I hit a lot of mileage this week just from walking so much for each of the events that I did. So I'll count that. I was getting like 16,
But you
17,000 steps a day.
didn't do any events.
I coach. That's an event in and of itself. And speaking of, I probably did 40 laps at the college fair because it was a college fair that we hosted at our
It
school.
was on a track?
No, but it was inside the gym, and we had 150-ish colleges there, and like it was just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and a bunch of like our school was there, and then 4 or 5 other schools that we collaborate with, like we share hosting. So next year it won't be at our school, but I was just talking, going everywhere, just talking.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm Jeremy. I'm talking.
Just talking and walking.
And you consider that a workout?
I mean, that's as much a workout as I'm doing right now.
So what did you do this week to get better for running?
I let my Achilles rest.
With intention?
I mean, I sat in my chair at school a lot. I've gotten into a habit of when I lead discussions, I'm not like walking actively or standing in front of class. I like to pull up a chair and kind of make it casual. I make it casual. I sit down in my chair and I just talk with them, and we just have discussion about what we're reading or what we're doing. It's pretty cool. I like it.
So you've even gotten lazy in teaching.
It's not lazy. It's mentally not lazy. I think getting down to that level, on their level, like talking with them as though they are like able to share their ideas, and I'm not like staring down at them like, no, you're dumb. Yeah. Just like that.
So I'm guessing, but before this school year ends, you're just gonna have a lazy boy in the front of the class.
I could probably ask the finance office if they would expense one for me, and they'd probably get it for me if I wanted it. So
that's what's next.
A lazy boy, I think, would be pretty cool. I could set up like a little lounging area in the back of my classroom. I have plenty of room.
You're gonna come in every morning and like take off your cardigan like you're Mr. Rogers and switch off.
Welcome, girls.
Take
and
off
boys.
your shoes.
Welcome, girls and boys. You ready for another English discussion?
That's creepy.
Today we're gonna discuss the symbols in V for Vendetta.
I could see you walking in, kicking off your shoes that you wore to school, putting on a pair of like bedroom slippers.
Yeah, I could do that. I could get behind that.
And then
I had prom on Saturday as well. So I chaperoned prom. Um, it was quite something.
Now, how did that get you ready for running?
I danced.
Did you?
I did. I cut
You
across.
danced at the children's prom.
They weren't doing it. That look, nothing against the students at my
You said,
school.
let me get this started.
I love the students at my school, but that was one of the most boring dances I've ever been to. First,
What?
the DJ was not great. They gave the DJ a list of songs that they wanted played, and he probably played like 10%. The rest of them were like his own like choices. And then he had the burr, 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 all the time, and then he had this like, and like it was something else. But
It
then like
sounds like this dude was.
it was not good, Brad. And then they were like, so then the kids are on the dance floor. They're just kind of like staring around, and then they set up a circle, and one person will go out there, and then everybody's like, "Oh, not me!" And you see them just pushing each other out. So I'm like,
So you went in there.
I didn't go in the circles. No, I didn't want to make anybody feel bad. But I was on the periphery, and I was just cutting rugs, and I was doing my own thing. Some students have some videos of me that were circling around the school on Instagram and stuff. So.
Wow.
I haven't been called down to the office yet, so I think my dancing was okay. But yeah, so they enjoyed it. There is a video of me like just going around and around in circles to see if I can make myself dizzy, which I did. But let's stop talking about me. We've been talking about me for like probably 9 minutes or so. Let's talk about you and how you got yourself better for running, bud.
I have been working on my hip flexibility.
Yeah.
Candidly, just feeling amazing here the last couple of days.
So what have you been doing for hip flexibility? Can you like show and say at the same time so like the people out in the whatever
I'd prefer to save it for
for
the
our
Studley Dudley workout video.
We should. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool.
Like, I'd like to put that behind a paywall and monetize that. Like, don't give it away for free.
No, so like ultimately, I think we need to start having merch, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, it's going so well. I think we should invest in merch.
I mean, you said we're getting dozens of listeners on podcasts
It's true.
and 2 to 3 viewers on YouTube.
That's true too.
To be honest, it's probably a benefit to us that they don't see us. Those people don't see us because it's not the best.
Like, October was bar none the best we've done, and we've been on a pretty precipitous decline since then.
What was so special about October?
I don't know.
I mean, that was after our first race, leading up to the second race. Like, what did we do that was special there? There was something. We must have had something like that little spice.
Yeah, I'm guessing all of our friends,
And now they just don't listen anymore.
and now they've like unsubscribed.
Oh, buddy. Maybe we should start texting them, subscribe, subscribe. At least get them to subscribe, and then they don't have to worry about it. They'll get one notification
Well,
every week.
for a podcast though, it's just the number of downloads that you get.
So if I ask my students to download it,
Straight through the roof.
so I mean, I could ultimately probably get us like 200 downloads a week.
And you've done nothing, which
I
truly
don't-
says a lot.
I don't want my students knowing that. Some of the things that we've talked about, Brad, I don't know would go over so well with some of them.
Fact. So I've been doing a bunch of hip mobility stuff, a lot of lower, like, strength work on my lower body.
Yeah.
No Stairmaster this week or last week, but some really just like enjoyable runs.
Okay. So
A lot of runs with Stephanie.
What kind of mileage did you get up to this week?
maybe 12, 20, somewhere in there. I mean, I know 12 to 20 is just about double.
That's a
So, but
pretty.
I haven't been wearing my watch every time.
Oh, that's good. See, I think that's kind of a detriment to running in general. Like when it used to be back in the day, you just go out, bro. I think like I'm not. I know that this is stupid because I haven't run in a long time. I haven't run in months, truly. But like seeing the race this past weekend really made me like because those guys were just out there. Some people were out there to like crush, and some people did. They just really ran.
This was the 24-hour race.
Yeah, but
Okay.
like just seeing people out there having fun with groups, like chit chatting and walking when they wanted to walk and running when they wanted to run and taking breaks when they got back to their tent and eating and just hanging out, like maybe miss it for sure. Not enough to get out there and run that day, but maybe
Just so we know.
just like in my heart, I definitely felt like I needed to be doing it. And I think like ultimately I need to get away from doing races that there's so much pressure for time, and I think it's mentally not good for me, and just kind of get out there and have races that are for fun. And I think that like you did with the half marathon when you knew you were fit, you just went out there and had fun.
So
Like
why can't you do that?
because it's meant like, you know that I can't do that. You can't do that. The only reason you did it at Rock and Roll is because I couldn't do it and we were running together. If it was truly a race, we would have been out there pushing our brains out to best one another.
Okay.
That's not like is it fun to run fast? For sure it is. But it's also like I think that I haven't had enough time to run for fun. Every time I run, it's for some kind of like ulterior motive and some kind of time. Like,
Well,
I don't.
then maybe we should rename this the Jogger Podcast.
No, running is good. Racing is different. Like one of my favorite things I've ever done was the 8 hour race where I went out and you just run as far as you can in 8 hours, and it was just. I mean, it's a long time, but it's not a 24-hour commitment, and you can like you stop when you want to stop. And I got in like 37 miles, and I was content, and I was happy, and I was like, okay, cool, that was a good day. That was a good day. And I enjoyed it. I was listening to podcasts. I was just out there. I had a big beard. I was called Mr. Icebeard because it was so cold out there. Hey, Mr. Icebeard. So that was cool.
That was one time that it happened.
What, the Mr. Icebeard? No, then it got around. Somebody heard me, and then it started
Oh,
spreading.
really?
Yeah, so everybody started calling me Mr. Icebeard.
I don't believe that.
I'm serious. It was like 12 degrees at the start of this thing, and like I would like obviously like my breath right up in that bad boy. So I was became an ice beard. That thing like I had icicles. So I don't know. It makes me want to like. I know our next step is the marathon. I know you're still training for grandmas. I hope it's going to be successful for you. You've got like 2 months of
Well,
self.
there seems to be, so I'm still planning on running grandmas, but it seems to be that we would still need to do a marathon as the Briggity Bro Bobs.
Fuck. I was
Because
hoping you
as
said
it stands now, it would be the
the Big
Briggity
Bro
Bro
Bob.
Bob,
Yeah, David Duncan.
aka David Duncan.
I think if they allow you to have like a name on your bib,
Oh, psh,
David Duncan, or just Duncan, D. Duncan. I
yeah.
don't know. I guess we have to. Do we? Can we
I
not
mean,
just
you
like,
could make it a trail marathon.
dude? That might be the ticket. Maybe that's what we need to do sometime in like November.
Ready when
Oh,
you are.
I'm ready. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. Yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe that'll be like a good intro into like trail racing. And then, well, we already did a 10K, so that's the next logical step, right? Is the trail marathon. There are lots. I mean, I'll come up your way. I'm sure that there's probably plenty of opportunity around you. And speaking of, you know, I didn't tell you this yet, but Katie seems like she's moving jobs. She's going to York County, so I'll have a different schedule than she will for spring break and stuff, which is going to be weird. So maybe I can come up there for one of my spring breaks.
Great. Can't wait.
I can't either.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So
Trail marathon.
let's.
So we can talk about that next episode.
Okay.
We'll throw some out there, talk about the next goal. So then I'll start running.
How is the Achilles?
It feels okay when I'm walking. The couple times I've like gone just like jogging across the field and stuff to like catch a time for one of my kids or whatever. Like I noticed it. It's not painful, but I noticed it, so it's not perfect. But I'm wondering if it's just tight because I haven't done anything with it. So I think I'm gonna take it nice and easy. Maybe like this week is still another rough week. Maybe I'll try after practice one day to go out for like 15, 20 minutes, super easy on the grass around our school and just see what happens. Can't hurt. I can do
Or it
that.
could.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, at least I'm at school, and the farthest I'm going to be is like a quarter mile from my car. So I can just
Gotcha.
like stop and walk and not feel obligated if I'm like a mile away from my car to like at least jog it so it doesn't take forever in the day to get back.
All right. Good stuff. So next week we'll find a trail
marathon, and we'll start talking that up.
Okay.
We'll find a couple. We won't talk about it. We'll talk about it on the pod. Find a couple that are intriguing to you, and we'll talk about why. Maybe there'll be some overlap. That would be pretty cool.
That would be Briggity Brobop special.
It would be.
Studley Dudley special.
Big time. So let's talk. What are we going to talk about, Brad?
Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
I've been talking with Kira. She's always giving me updates on high school runners.
Yeah.
Have you seen the times these high school people are running?
It's insane. Now, I've been talking, one of my kids and I have been talking, one of my athletes and I have been talking about it. And he thinks that kids are getting faster. And I think that the times are getting faster. And it could be any number of things. But he's like, they're better. There's more talent out there. I was like, I don't know that there's more talent. I think it's more known because of like the way the technology is spread or like information is spread now. Right. So although I think the times are faster, I don't know that the talent is better. I think it's just put to better use.
How could you say the talent isn't better?
Because I still think that back in our day, there was still a lot of really good athletes. The times aren't necessarily the same, but I think, again, there are a number of reasons that the times are different. Talent is not time, Brad.
I understand that.
So you can't say that kids are definitively more talented now than they were 20 years ago.
Are national records being broken?
Yes. But there's a reason for that, Brad.
What's the reason? Shoes? Are we going back to the shoe debate?
You know it.
So what would Alan Webb have run if you put him in a pair of shoes? And mind you, hold on.
8.
Get the Clayton Murphy historically is not running super shoes, including going in the Olympics in a super shoe era.
Okay. What does that have to do with people who are wearing super shoes?
If there was that big of a benefit, don't you think that he would just go and wear the super shoes?
Maybe he's against it.
No.
Or maybe they don't work with his stride, with his gait. Look, you cannot tell me that shoes don't have something to do with it. Number one, they're infinitely lighter than what we grew up with. That does help. Spikes?
I don't think they're that much lighter.
Yeah, they are. Big time.
Prove it.
Well, let's do some research.
Prove it.
I bet you they are at least on average 2 ounces lighter. 2 ounces. I bet you.
What was the best racing shoe that split Jasari?
The Jasari. Yeah.
Nike Zoom Jasari. Does it have their weight here?
There were probably trainers that are as light as that shoe is now.
No way.
What?
I'm saying you're just wrong.
No way. And second, because technology is more easily available and readily available to people, training has become much better.
Okay. So training is better.
That has
What
nothing
is
to
it?
do with talent, though. You're missing the point. He was trying to say that the kids are more talented now. I don't think they're more talented. I think the information is out there for people to be able to pull their talent out even farther. That's what I'm saying. I think you're discounting like the people, like somebody 20 years ago, a high school kid 20 years ago running 353. If they were now with the technology, with the information that's out there, who knows? 343.
But there's been
348
no
might-
male running as fast as Alan Webb.
You're right. So that just proves my point even more. Talent was just as prevalent then.
So,
as
but
it is
Alan
now.
Webb, Alan Webb was what? He was like the 8th runner ever to break 4 in high school.
Yes, but Brett, you're missing the point. It's not about times being better. You can't disagree that times are better. What I'm saying is you can't say that times are better because the talent is better. I'm saying because technology and information is better. So there are more kids. So a kid who was a 420 miler 20 years ago might be a 410 miler now.
10 seconds?
With information and technology, yes.
Get out. That is absolutely absurd.
No, it's not.
Jeremy, that
Here's
is
the-
beyond
here's the-
absurd.
How many boys in 2000 broke 410 or ran 410 or faster versus how many boys in 2024? And you're saying that
In what years?
2000 and in 2024 or 2023, because 2024 is not over yet. 2023. How many boys broke or ran 410 or faster in the 1600 in 2000 and in 2023? And
Wait, hold on. Tell me the time. So I've got
410.
2000 pulled up. 410
Yes.
or faster.
Yes.
14 kids.
Okay. How many boys have broken 410 in 2023?
Well, I've got to scroll to the next page.
Okay.
Got to scroll to the next page.
Okay. So you're telling me in 20 years the level of talent has gotten so good that you're what 10,000%? There are 10,000% more.
121 kids ran 410 or faster.
Okay. Statistically speaking, that's not feasible. Just for it to be talent, it has to be something else. You might get into a group of pocket where you have some kids who are just ridiculously talented for a couple of years. That's something. But to have something go and be 50 times more than the time 20 years ago doesn't make any sense to say it has nothing to do with technology and information.
So what technology is making them better?
I mean, the ability to like, well, any kind of social media, any kind of information, the internet, all that stuff wasn't really, it was around, but it wasn't nearly what it is today. That's technology. The shoes for sure being lighter, the shoes having different materials, the tracks having different materials. All those things definitely lend themselves to faster times.
So how many of those kids, 151 kids or whatever, 121 kids, are running on like Max Mondo tracks?
It doesn't have to just be the track, though. Don't forget about the shoes. Don't forget about the information.
You told me the surfaces.
I said there. It could be a factor.
Okay, so how many of those kids are running on
You tell
tracks
me. You have
better
a
than
looked up.
the tracks we grew up on?
Probably a lot. I raced mostly on asphalt tracks.
Okay. So when
So
it's asphalt not faster than rubber?
not when you have to wear a pair of like flats instead of spikes.
So what do the spikes do for you? They offer you
They're
grip.
lighter. They're lighter. They're more rigid for people to be able to push themselves off more. Nowadays, they're made of different materials, like all kinds of stuff, Brad. It's like you're just now being argumentative just to try to disprove my what I'm saying. So you're saying that the kids are more talented now.
Sure, like it's hard to dispute that there's not an increased level of talent.
I don't know that it's an increased level of talent. I think we know more.
So you think 20 years ago, 23 years ago, there could have been 121 kids if you changed the shoes
I,
and the technology there it would go
entry
from 10
philosophies and all
to
of this different shit.
121.
I think that it's very possible. Obviously, we can't tell, but you can't tell me that there is a statistic anomaly that it just doesn't make any sense. We, as a human race, have not evolved
So
to the point.
it's not that the talent, like that the upper limit of the talent is, it's that there's a bigger talent pool in the running
Well,
community now.
there are more
So
people than
right. So kids that previously were playing football, kids that were previously playing other sports, that talent now isn't being drawn to other sports and it's staying in running.
it could be, or it could be. I mean,
So, but that is a bigger talent pool. That is more talent.
but they're not more talented.
Okay, well, so now we're changing the conversation.
No, that's what I said to start with. Obviously, if you have more people, there's going to be more talent. That's why you have bigger high schools who compete against bigger high schools and not smaller high schools.
Girls 1600 national record just fell.
I know it did.
So who was the previous record holder?
Caitlin Toohey.
So Caitlin Toohey, you're saying is the same talent level as
My God, Brad, why are you taking one thing? Obviously, this person is of superior talent.
Sadie Englehart.
Yes. I don't know that she's more talented or not, and you can't say that she isn't, but you're taking one or two examples and saying, I'm going to apply this to the whole.
So, but you were saying you took everything based off of times. And saying, well, 23 years ago, they weren't running as fast as today because of technology. There's no way technology in shoes. Caitlin Toohey had access to everything that Sadie Englehart has had.
I'm aware, Brad. I didn't say that people can't get faster. I'm not saying that there can't be a person who comes through and is better than everybody who's ever been. I'm saying that the number of people who are doing the things they're doing is not indicative of a better talent, like of their talent being better. It's indicative of things that they have access to that allow their talent to come out better.
And there's more talent in the sport.
Then yes, then that's fine, but they're not more. We're talking about two different things. There are more people in the sport that are talented. That doesn't mean that they are more talented. There is more talent because of the number of people.
Okay.
Semantics. The fact that, what was it at Arcadia? How many boys broke 9 minutes? 47?
But it seems like half the country.
Yes. That was unheard of back in our day. Like if you had 10 kids breaking 9 minutes, that was a big year.
And there's also more opportunities for those kids to race each other now than ever before.
100%. And there are meets that are set up specifically outside of just nationals for them to go and do like these beastly things.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, so you're acknowledging that there is more opportunity for people who are talented to showcase their talent.
Yes, but so my argument here the entire time is that the talent pool is 10 times as deep as it was 23 years ago.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that one.
So any way you quantify that, that is more talent. If you assign one talent point to every single person.
Talented. What I'm still saying is that those people who ran 410 or let's say like the 415 kids probably were, if they are competing now, sub 410 kids.
Well, you made it 10 seconds just a minute ago.
Then 420 to 410. Sure.
There's no way that kids like that's all that is 10 seconds. That
well, I think also there's a different mentality now because of the social aspect of it, because of the information aspect of it. You see these kids out there crushing, and as a competitive kid, you're like, okay, well, what are they doing? You find out what they're doing instead of just being like, oh, I heard about that kid. And that's the last thing you heard. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know what kind of mileage or training they're doing. Whereas all the kids now are putting that out there. So it's definitely a different mentality too. So that mentality, like to have that push and the knowledge of what other people are doing helps you also do what they're doing or modify it so that you can better them. It's completely different now. It's a different mentality.
Maybe.
Like what I'm saying is there's any number of reasons to say that why and how the times are getting faster, and without doing a specific scientific study, like there's just no way to.
Well, I think there's like a laundry list of things that have made the talent pool significantly better right now.
Yeah, and I think it's good for the sport.
So first and foremost, I would agree with you on the social media aspect. That kids now are just inundated with seeing how fast kids in competitive areas are, et cetera, and rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah.
I mean, so when you see that it's possible, that your peers are doing it, you're more apt to say, okay, well, this isn't impossible.
Right.
It's basically the Jim Ryan, or the, whoever it is that broke the 4-minute mile, Roger Bannister scenario. Said it's impossible, he breaks 4 minutes, and then everybody and their sister comes in.
Everybody.
So, yep, you and me included. So I think that is the biggest contributor. Second biggest contributor. I think the biggest contributor is there's just significantly more people staying in track and field for the opportunities.
Yeah, I think people who may have found a moderate success in a different sport find more success in track, and they stay with it.
You know what I honestly think it is that parents and student athletes are so hung up on getting college scholarships. That kids that historically have just stayed in soccer, stayed in baseball. I think you see a lot of the kids come from the soccer world.
Yeah.
They used to just be content. Okay, I'm a varsity athlete in high school in soccer. Now if they go out and run a race and they say, well, I'm closer to getting a scholarship on the track than I am in soccer.
That's right.
I think the kids are all moving to where they're maximizing their opportunity for scholarships.
Yes. And I think the mentality, and I mean, I can tell just based on what I've experienced as a college counselor with my kids, is that I don't know why, but they are completely anti D3. So it's D1 or bust. So like they have these specific times in mind that they have to hit. And I'm like, or goals. And then I'm like, you do realize that a lot of D3 athletes are just as good as D1 athletes. It's just a matter of where they want to go. Not necessarily that they can't do it at the D1 level. So it's hard to get that mentality through. But yes, all of it I think plays a role.
So I think that is the biggest piece, is that there's just more kids on the track with talent.
Yes, I mean that's the whole why are high schools split into different divisions based on population, because a bigger population means that there's a potential for more talent to be found in those populations. It's no different there.
Yep. 2 is the social media aspect, that they realize what the opportunity, like how fast their kids are running.
And they see how they're training. Like, it's not just, oh, this kid just ran 4:03. It's like, hey, follow me along when I go out and do my workouts and look at my workout and the times I'm hitting. Like, that's also part of it. Like you can see the workouts.
I think it's a very, very small part of it.
I don't know. I think it might be bigger than you think, but I'm glad you acknowledge it could be something.
So I think number one is the depth of the pool. Number 2 is the social media aspect. Number 3 is kids are way more serious than anybody that I knew ever was.
Yes.
So if you look at the demographics, like underage drinking is like damn near at an all-time low.
I mean, my kids just had prom, so I could probably disagree with you on that, but go ahead.
Like healthy eating is at an all-time high, like a focus on nutrition, maintaining weight, like all of the small things that make huge contributions that in our time no one ever thought anything of. No. You either ate, drank, did whatever you want, or there was the one kid that was ostracized with an eating disorder.
That's right. I know my coach said a couple times, you probably need to stop eating all the garbage. And that was about it. Because, over the summer I would not run quite as much as I probably should have. And I mean, I definitely didn't run as much as I should have. And I'd come back a little more tubby than I was.
So I think those 3 things, if you were putting it at a percentage, are probably closer to 85% of the biggest contributors to how fast kids are running today.
Yeah. Look, I think it's cool that they're running this fast. It's crazy to see 47 kids go 109 minutes in a single meet.
Well, I was looking at girls on mile split. So Sadie Engelhart just ran 4:29
for 16, 4:31 for the. So your daughter was right. She did run 4:31 for the mile, but
so she's a junior.
So she's got another year. Yeah,
that is she basically walks into NC State in 2 years as a favorite for national champion.
Yeah, for sure.
So
is what's her name going to still be at Florida? Is she done?
No, she's senior.
Is she a senior?
Yeah, I think I think that maybe at one point I thought she was a sophomore, but she's a senior.
Maybe she's a junior. There's something in between sophomore and senior, Brad.
So 4:29, 4:34, 4:35, 4:37. These times were unheard on the women's side when we were coming out of high school.
Yeah.
We barometer
had to wait for track and field news to come out to see who was running the fastest.
Yeah, but the barometer was sub 5.
Oh, for sure. I still think it is. I still think if you have a girl running sub 5, she can go and be successful at a mid-major D1 program.
Sub 5 is still a barometer.
Yeah.
So what would be sub 4 for high school girls? What's that number?
I think it
that magic number.
I would say 440.
I was gonna say 444 or below.
Yeah.
So let's just look at sub 5. I looked at this before the call today. Unbelievable. To be 50th in the country is 451 right now.
Okay.
In track season, we haven't even gotten to nationals,
championship level,
state championships, anything. This is just there's surely some big meets in there. To be 100th in the country is 455.
So there's 50 kids between 51 and 55?
Yes.
Wow.
So 149th is 457.
Jesus Christ.
To get to 100 to 200th is still sub 5.
Wow.
459.
Wow.
How many 200 girls at sub 5. So just
Wait, is that stopped at 2? That's it? Or there's
217 runners sub 5.
Wow. Colleges have a lot to choose from. I
That
mean, imagine
is
getting you could get like a solid recruiting class of kids from like not even the top tier kids, like 455 to five flat, and do
well.
something special with them because
Think
they
of
are
the number
still
of runners
challenged.
that if it's 217 runners at sub 5, that tells me that in some state, could be Ohio, California, New York, probably those are the three biggest states,
Yeah,
that you might not even get to state at sub 5.
no, you might not. But I mean, I guess it depends on what it looked like last year because a lot of the state like times are set by the standards that they had the year before, the state like those types of things.
Well,
So
you got to qualify through regionals.
a lot of places do it by time too. You could do it
Mm.
time. That way you don't have to like you could do something different at regionals and still run at states for whatever race you want.
So in high school boys this year, we already have a sub 4 miler.
Yeah. One.
And
That's what I
one.
saw. Yeah.
So, but again, we're not into championship season yet.
No.
Like at the end of the year, you're going to have Brooks putting on a PR mile. You have Nike Nationals, New Balance. You'll have the Penn Relays that'll like. There's still a ton of opportunities for high school boys to group up. So, what would be? We've established the benchmark at women for sub 5 as like the benchmark that even dating back to us and now is still like a national benchmark.
I would say 410. Like, and you told me how many kids were at 410?
Well, if 50 is at 410.
So I mean, 420.
55 keeps you 410.89.
So 420. I think a kid who goes to 420 in high school could pretty much go and run at a lot of D1 programs.
So I don't know what it was like. You had Alan Webb around you.
I did.
So, but historically, it feels like on the national level that the number during our time was 416.
416, yeah. That makes sense. 64s.
Like 416 was the number that, wow, like this guy's going to be a state contender.
Yep.
He can run it at most any, like he might not be at whatever the perennial powerhouse was at the time.
Right.
But you were going to go Division 1 no matter what.
Right.
So at 149 kids is 414.
Okay.
To get to 416, 199 kids, you're still at sub 416.
Wow. So that's the comparable time to what you just said was sub 5.
So 240 kids.
416 or faster. That's crazy.
I mean, so I don't think it's the top end. I think it's just how deep it is.
Yeah.
So like the perfect analogy would be in Division 1, like you could have, say at nationals, it's how deep it is of like crazy fast times.
Yeah.
So you get to Division 3, and yes, the top 5 guys there could compete essentially any program, anywhere in the country. So, but then it's a precipitous drop off.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to have 100 kids running sub. I don't know what the numbers are in cross country or whatever the race.
Right.
Like it's just not as deep.
No, for sure.
So, like I think that's exactly what high school is now compared to when we were. It's not that the times are unreachable. It's that the window is fucking huge right now with the number of kids that you would say, wow, those are good runners.
They are. I mean, 416 is legit, man. It's pretty legit.
So, how many races do you show up to that you see 416 runners?
Personally, none.
No, okay.
Maybe one.
Maybe that was a bad.
Maybe one.
Okay.
Right now, there's a kid who's right at 420, so he could potentially go sub 420, like 416. But most of my races and my meets were again, it's the number of kids I've only got 200 kids in my high school. So, and the talent pool is pretty small there, and we're not even like on the small end of public or private schools. So, a lot of private schools are coming in with like graduating classes of 20. So, they're super small.
I actually think uh, the 3,200 times are probably more impressive to me than the 1,600 times.
I agree. Like, again, the sub 9, like sub 9 was unheard of.
So what would you? I personally would attribute that to. Everybody takes training serious now.
Yeah.
And like the long run is an actual thing. It's something that kids hang their hat on, like Church of the Sunday Long Run. Every kid is doing at least mileage that's you have to be able to sustain speed.
There are not many kids who did what we did, where I topped out at like 20 miles a week. Right? Like, those kids are doing double that easy, if not more than double.
So 9:30 when I was in high school, 9:30 was like a crazy time.
I was going to say 9:20. I had a number of kids like in that 9:20 and under. But yeah, 9:30, 9:20.
So sub 9, I had never even heard of.
Yeah, my high school, like a kid I ran with has the school record still. He ran 8:58, and I think he ended up 5th. At nationals with whatever he ended up with.
So 8:59.99 is 79th in the country right now.
Dude, see, the 4:16 is fast. The sub 5 minutes is fast. 8:59 is insane. That's just insane.
2 sub 4:30 miles back to back.
You know that 8:59 kid can go and do a 4:16.
Yeah, like 9:15 in the 3,200 was like state champion.
Oh yeah.
You were going to be, like going to a postseason meet and doing really, really well.
Yep.
Now 9:15 seems to be a joke.
I mean, it is.
So how many kids do you think you have to get to sub 9:15? Or until you hit 9:15?
You said how many kids had broken 9?
71 or something.
Okay. 348.
288.
Okay, I was a little off.
It's not that bad though.
No.
But that is a unbelievable amount of kids running what used to be pretty much guarantee yourself a state title.
Guaranteed. You throw down at 9:15, there might be one or two kids who can give you a run for your money, but you're going to win with a 9:15. That's crazy.
And so in girls track and field, high school track and field, then what's the 3,200 meter times?
I think 10:30.
10:30?
Or sub 11. Like if a girl ran sub 11, you're like, that girl probably going to be a state. Like I know a couple of state champ girls who are like 11:40 something. So maybe 11.
So first of all, there's 3 girls sub 10.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
That's like what it used to be for boys at sub 9.
Think about that. That's the benchmark we just compared times 2.
Times 2. I mean,
that is insane.
Look, Brad, in 20 years, there are going to be boys, like, there are going to be 150 boys who go sub 8:30.
All at Arcadia.
Yeah.
So at 100th, you're at 10:38.
Okay.
150th is 10:43.
Okay. I think sub 11 is super legit. Because many girls can't run up a 5:30.
Right. 200 is 10:48.
Okay.
250 is 10:51.
Okay. Okay.
300 is 10:54.
Right. What?
every 50 is 10:56. Like every
They
50
are
kids is 2
crushing.
seconds.
Yeah.
400 is 10:59.
Wow. Wow. I have never physically seen a girl outside of probably college run a sub 11.
414 girls
Broke
is
11.
sub 11.
I mean, but so at this point, though, right? It's diminishing returns for those girls because then you're not even like, oh, I'm only 418th place in the country. Garbage. Like, what are you going to do with that?
Well, I think then this becomes a resume. So you have to say, well, I'm ranked 413 in the country, but I'm 4 seconds away from being in the top 100.
That's right. That's right. Because that's all it takes.
It was like my resume when it took me so damn long to graduate from college.
Yeah.
So I just put the number of years that I studied at Winthrop, and it was like 6 years. And I just let him I just let him assume that I was working on my master's.
That's right. Like that bodes well for those mid-major programs, though. Like you're gonna get some seriously good runners there.
Well, I think what's the wildest piece to think on both the boys and the girls is how many of those runners that have historically unbelievable times. I'm guessing there's a good percentage that just say, like, I'm not running in college.
You would imagine, but like I would venture to say that the kids who are running those times are dedicated enough to say, I am going to run in college, even if it means that they have to go D3 or D2 or whatever it may be. You don't think so? Like, obviously, there's going to be some sloughing off of kids who don't want to do the work after high school. But I would venture to say that there's probably, I would say 70% of them continue on.
I'd be super interested to see.
75.
I would be super interested to see, like, of these kids, the number of kids that we've just highlighted.
Yeah.
How many, like, what their level of success looks like for the 4 years post high school. Like, because historically you've seen the very top California kids get recruited.
Yeah.
And then the rest of California doesn't get recruited because they say the time, like, they're basically running road races at the state championship.
Yeah.
Like, their state championship is not comparable to really any other state.
Right.
And if you look historically, like, those kids haven't panned out the top 4 kids do, whether it's the young, like Lex and Leo Young or Nico Young. So, but it's not like there's 40 kids from the state of California that are being, like, helping Georgetown, Syracuse, 30 other colleges. Yeah. There's 4 kids that are helping a big college. That's it.
I don't know. I think we would have to, like, do a serious deep dive to see where those kids went and where they ended, like, what they ended up doing. I mean, those kids, look at how many kids in college are breaking 4 now. Like, you have to acknowledge that that's there.
But I'm interested if the training has moved the needle so much in high school running that they're just maxing out in their performance. Like, they're either significantly injury prone, they've capped out on the mileage that they possibly could do.
Right.
So if you're going to college, it's not that you're getting unbelievable workouts. It's historically that you're getting more mileage under you that's giving you this huge boost of of benefit.
Right.
And so how many of those high school kids do you think are running for the boys running 70 plus miles a week?
Oh, I would say a vast majority of them would be.
I'm guessing 75% plus.
Yeah.
And so how do you get to the next step when you're doing 75, like the same mileage that Division I does?
I think for boys, it comes in, like, with age. Like, whereas girls' age, like, in development can hinder their performance just because of their body changing. It's the reverse of that for guys. I think you get stronger, and that means that you can do more with your training and with your, like, running than girls can. Like, at 18, you're not going to be nearly as strong as you can be when you're 22. Like, it's a significant difference. I think that could.
So then why do you have so many flameouts?
Because I don't know that people realize just how much dedication being on a program is. Like
But they're already doing Division One mileage.
They are, but they're not. But it's not the mileage necessarily either. It's like the time commitment. It's a much bigger time commitment to be on a college team than it was to be on a high school team. Even if you're doing 70 miles a week, like you're going and doing your doubles and not necessarily doing that in high school. You're having to like go to meets for multiple days, not just a single day. Like it's a lot. It's a lot different. Maybe like maybe
I'm not buying into that personally, but
well, maybe it's the coach. Maybe like you think that you're going to get along with the coach. And
so think about it. How dedicated do you have to be if you're running that in high school? It's not. This isn't a lack of dedication.
I'm not saying it's a lack of dedication. It's just that maybe they see the life that other people are living, and like because you're going to be around kids who are living a different life, and they're not like you're seeing that all over the place versus kind of like more segmented in high school, right? Because most colleges are bigger. You're just going to see a lot more. I don't know. Like maybe you don't like the coach. Maybe you don't like your teammates. Your teammates can definitely make or break you. Like
well, Jeremy,
because of you.
Take the next week. Start off our next episode. I want to see you do a deep dive into the numbers on this.
Jesus. Okay.
We need a full-time statistician. That is all right. Hire her. Give her the same. Double your pay. Give it to her.
Done.
All right.
Jeremy? Bradford?
I think this was total redemption after the last couple.
I agree. I think this one had a much stronger point that we were trying to make. And I think we both talked rather eloquently tonight.
Well, for me, that's nothing new. I guess you're saying you spoke eloquently and added on to everything that I always bring to the table.
I concur. I think that I was actually on even playing field with you, not evil.
I mean the banter was buzzing today.
Buzzing. We were it was like a dog fight.
The Studley Dudleys were buzzing tonight.
That's right. We might have to change it from the Briggity Brobobs to the Studley Dudleys. But for the artists formerly known as the Briggity Brobobs now introduced themselves as the Studley Dudleys, starring David, Duncan, and Rachel.
I think the Briggity Brobobs is like the parent company.
Okay, I'm down for
that.
The
Briggity Brobobs present the Studley Dudleys One podcast.
Workout videos.
We are going to have to dedicate, while you have summer break, we're going to have to dedicate ourselves to actually making and publishing this video.
Look, I'm going to bust out some 1-inch splits and a tight-fitting tank and high quarter socks with the circle that goes around, stripes, we'll call them. Yeah, I think it could be pretty cool.
Oh, wait. Before you go, can I tell you? I've played a few golf tournaments here of late.
Yeah.
And then just like golf season is opening up here in Ohio.
Of course.
Boy, a couple of high noons on the course. First time I've ever had them. Fantastic.
What is a high noon?
It's like one of these vodka seltzers.
Oh.
In the little skinny, like, girly can.
Should we get them to sponsor us? I know we went through a whole sponsorship deal. We didn't do that.
As we just talk about why kids are getting faster.
And we're going to talk about getting ourselves a liquor license sponsor.
I think Four Locos.
That's right. That's energy, buddy.
Yep. All right, bud. Hey.
Right. Hey.
Guess what?
What, Brad?
You guess what?
You love me.
Did I tell you that already?
Nope.
Did I tell you that already? How'd you know that? Did you see where I'm going with that?
I do, and I've been watching nothing but mini truck videos all month. I can't wait. One of these days I'll get one. I'll buy you one too, Brad, so we can be mini truck buds.
Mini truck Studley Dudleys.
That's what we could. I could look under our parent company.
Under the Briggity Bro Bobs Inc.
That's right.
All right, bud. Hey, love you.
Love you.
See you, man.